Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Today, we lead the evidence of Jabulani Isaac Mapieye, and I'm assisted in this regard by Advocate Ofenzo Mutasedi. Chair, if we may have the witness sworn in. Thank you.
Good morning, Chief of the EMPD.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Please place your full names on record.
My name is Isaac Jabulani Mapieye.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And perhaps for the record and the transcribers, Mapieye is spelled M-A-P-I-Y-E-Y-E. Thank you. Chief Mapieye, you have before you two white files. Can we try and identify them before we start with your testimony? The smaller file should have written on the spine, the back of the file, statement. Do you have that file?
I've got Commissioner.
The second slightly bigger file should have written on the spine annexures.
I've got it, I see.
And the annexures in the second file are the annexures you referred to in the statement in the first file.
I've noted that, I see.
Thank you. Now please turn to the first file, the statement file. And I invite you to go to numbered page 1 of that file. It has, on the front page between the trim lines, this phrase, witness statement of Jabulani Isaac Mapieye. Do you confirm that's you?
That is correct, I see.
And I would invite you to then turn to page 31, the last page. At that last page, after the heading conclusion, is your name again, Isaac Jabulani Mapieye, and a date, and above that is a signature. Is that your signature? Do you confirm that's your signature?
This file I've got, I see, doesn't have a signature with me.
Doesn't have a signature?
That's correct, Chair.
Did you sign a statement for purposes of this commission?
That is correct, I see.
Okay. For that purpose, Chair, the last page, the signature page, was updated this morning. I think the witness file has not been updated. And hence, Chief Mapieye says his copy doesn't have the signed page, but he's confirmed that he has signed the statement. We shall attend to updating his file during the course of tea. Thank you.
Can perhaps the last page of what Ms. Mutasedi has be taken across for him to confirm?
I think that's appropriate.
That's the signature.
Okay.
In the meantime, may I say that you made me read more pages than what I have before me now.
I read more pages than what you have?
The electronic version that was given to me was longer than what I have now.
Well, perhaps it's a function of printing, I would like to believe. But I believe that your co-commissioners have a 31-page statement.
They are not complaining.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the advice, Chair. Chief Mapieye, what has just happened, you note that your page 21, the file you have, the last page has been replaced and it bears a signature Will you confirm that that is your signature? If you,
That is correct, SC, it's my signature.
Thank you. So do you confirm that this is the statement you prepared and submitted to the commission for the hearing today?
That is correct, SC.
And lastly, do you stand by the contents of this statement?
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. Now, if we may turn to page 3. From page 3 to the half of page 4, you have a heading there, introduction. Before we turn to your testimony today, can you give the commissioners a brief synopsis of your background, starting at paragraph 1?
Thank you, SC. Thank you, commissioners. I am an adult male. I'm the member of Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, EMPD, Municipal Police Service established in February 2002. In terms of Section 64 of South African Police Service Act 68 of 1995. I am currently the Chief of Police of EMPD, having been appointed in this position by Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council on the 1st of May 2017. For my appointment, I was appointed on a contract of 5 years. My contract was later renewed again in 2022 for another 5-year term, which expires end of May 2027. My appointment letter is also annexed in this file, commissioners. The EMPD is the municipal.
Before you turn to that, that appointment letter you've marked as JM1, and that appears at page 1 of the bigger file, the annexed file. You confirm?
That is correct, Commissioner.
And I note that the version you have provided is the extension of your first contract, so it's the one issued in 2022 that you say expires in 2027.
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. You were about to deal with the EMPD as an institution and its establishment. You may do so, starting from paragraph 4.
The EMPD is the Municipal Police Service for Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council, established in terms of Section 1995 of the Constitution and Chapter 2 of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000. The City of Ekurhuleni Municipality Council exercise oversight over the metropolis of Ekurhuleni. EMPD reports to Council through the Chief Executive Officer, who is the City Manager, in terms of Section 64B of the SAPS Act.
Starting at paragraph 7 and 8, you give a brief history of the EMPD itself. Could you deal with that?
Thanks, SC. Starting from number 7, it's my career history. I have indicated there that during 1983, I think there's a typo there, 1983 to 2002, I was a traffic officer in the Greater Benoni. Having have served in various ranks as a young officer when I joined in 1983, I have been through all the ranks of the traffic fraternity until I became an assistant traffic chief in Benoni. That was in 2002, when we then amalgamated as a Kuruleni municipality. So the erstwhile municipality that included Benoni, Brakpan, Springs, Nigel, that we call them Eastern Region. Then there is Alberton, Germiston, and Boksburg. That is, we call that area the Southern Region, because we have divided our area of policing into 3 regions. The last one will be Kempton Park, Tembisa, and Edenvale. That is what we call the Northern Region. So we amalgamated and formed a metro municipality. During then, when we established, in 2004, I was appointed as a director, logistics, technical and logistics in the EMPD, which is the support structure of the whole Metro Police Department. A position I served in until 2013. In September 2013, I was promoted and I was appointed as a Deputy Chief, Auxiliary and Support. The Auxiliary and Support, it is still a higher level than a Director Logistics, but now giving support for the whole EMPD department as a Deputy Chief of Police, Support and Auxiliary.
Thank you. And I note that at paragraph 8, as regards your progression through the service, you have annexed your curriculum vitae, which you have marked JM2.
That is correct, SC.
I would like to invite you to JM2, which starts at page 2 of the big file. You remember the other file? Have you located it?
I am on page 2 as SC.
I would like to draw your attention in particular to page 8, which is where you deal with your qualifications. Can you briefly just summarize for us what your qualifications are, or what qualifications you have achieved over the period that you set out at page 8?
I've obtained MFMA, that is Municipal Finance Management Act, that deals with finances in the fraternity. That was in 2022. In 2019, I obtained my master's in public management through Regenesis College. In 2013, I've done my public administration, level 8 with Regenesis. In 2005, I've done my BTech degree in traffic safety management through Technikon Pretoria. In 1983, I have obtained my ITO1 diploma through Lyceum College. 1993, I obtained my ITO Part 2 diploma through Lyceum College. In 1994, I obtained my Part 3 diploma in Lyceum College.
And just to help us who are not so knowledgeable about policing matters, what is an ITO? You've got ITO Part 1 diploma, Part 2, and Part 3. What does ITO stand for?
That is Institute of Traffic Officers.
Institute of
It's a
Traffic.
course which is designed specifically for the traffic fraternity.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. From page 4, you then deal with your time at the EMPD, and you start this topic by referencing the structure of the EMPD, you note, as at your suspension. And in this regard, you refer us to Annexure JM3. So with reference to paragraph 9 at page 4 of your statement, read with JM3 in the bigger file. That is at page 10. You can then speak to the functions and the structure of the EMPD.
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, what we see on page 4 on the small file is functions and the structure of EMPD. The structure of EMPD was until at my suspension, because I'm currently on suspension for the past 12 months, is depicted in Annexure JM3 to this statement. EMPD has 5 divisions reporting to me. I think, Commissioners, it will be better for me if I refer on this other file, on the structure itself, which is on page 10. Right on top of that structure, you will see there's an accounting officer, which used to be Dr. Imogen Mashazi, who is the city manager of Ekurhuleni. Below that is the chief of police. That is myself, IJ Mapieye. Under the chief of police, I had 5 directors reporting to me, deputy directors reporting to me. The first deputy director is the deputy chief of police, operations and specialized services. That deputy chief of police specializes in operations. Below that deputy chief of operations and specialized services, that is the face of Ekurhuleni, or the face of the Metropolis Department. Those are the officers you see on a daily basis outside. So under that deputy chief, there are 4 directors who are reporting to the deputy chief. Directors or brigadiers. As I've indicated earlier on, that Ekurhuleni, we have divided it into 3 regions. Under that deputy chief, one director will be responsible for the eastern region, the other one will be responsible for the southern region, the other one will be responsible for the northern region, the fourth one will be a director, specialized services. Okay, I made a flaw, there are 5 directors, because the other 5th one is a director responsible for bylaws. So those directors I've recently mentioned now, they report to the Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services. The incumbent there used to be Mr. Mzolo, who went on retirement a year ago. We come now to the second Deputy Chief of Police. That position is Auxiliary, Logistics and Support Services. Under that Deputy Chief of Police, there are 3 directors reporting to that Deputy Chief of Police. The one is responsible for training academy. The second one is responsible for fine administration and municipal courts. The third one is responsible for logistics support. Then we'll move on to the third Deputy Chief of Police, who is a Deputy Chief of Police responsible for security and loss control. He is responsible for all the security in the city, both internal security and external security also, because we've got contracts with service providers, so that Deputy Chief oversee those contract services. The fourth one will be a Deputy Chief of Police Compliance. The position has been vacant for a while, and there is a director reporting to that Deputy Chief of Compliance. That is the division which deals with compliance, including our research in the department. The last one will be a divisional head licensing. That individual is responsible for the registration and licensing of vehicles in the city of Ekurhuleni. So that's how the structure is, SC and the commissioners.
A very small matter of clarification. I think somewhere in your statement I saw a reference to a chief executive officer. Where does that fall in, or does it fall, where does that fall in?
According to the SAPS Act, that is the accounting officer who is the city manager.
City manager. Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Mapie. Overleaf at page 5, at paragraph 11, you then inform the Commission of what you learn has since transpired at the EMPD as regards the structure applicable. Would you like to take us through that? Once again, with reference to the structure as you knew it reflected in JM3.
Thank you, SC. On page 5 on the small file, this is the current approved structure, which has recently been approved during my absentia. But most of what I am going to be talking about, I will be speaking referring mostly to the structure which I've spoken about now. So the current approved structure, those 5 deputy chiefs on page 10 on the structure which I was talking to, there is now only the chief of police. He has got now only 2 deputy chiefs. That is operations and specialized services, security and loss control. Then the other functions were spread into the new structure, which I'm not going to talk in depth about it.
So are you inviting the commissioners to understand your testimony in the context of the structure as it existed on the day of your suspension? 5 deputy chiefs, deputy directors, is that correct?
That is correct, SC. 5 deputy chief of police.
Thank you. You then, from paragraph 13, deal in brief with the functions and the powers of the municipal police service, which includes the EMPD, of course. Can you take the commissioners through that?
The functions of municipal police service are set out in section 64E of South African Police Act and are as follows. That is the functions of a municipal police service. That is traffic policing, municipal bylaws, and crime prevention. Those are our core functions. But I can further elaborate, SC, that in section 64F, the minister shall confer such other powers as are conferred on SAPS on municipal police service members. On 11 June 1999, the minister promulgated the regulations for municipal police services, which is us, Metro Police. And in terms of Regulation 9 and 10 thereof, the powers of municipal police service were expanded to include some powers and functions of SAPS members as set out in a specific section of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977. Amongst others, the Stop Theft Act, Tear Gas Act, Mental Health Act, Drug and Drug Trafficking Act, the Domestic Violence Act. Those are some of the powers which were then delegated into the Metro Police.
Thank you. Do I understand you correctly then that the municipal police service has 3 core functions in terms of the SAPS Act, and you listed them there at paragraph 13, which is traffic policing, policing of municipal bylaws, and prevention of crime. Those are the core functions of the service.
That is correct, SC.
And that absent any extension of those functions or powers, that's all that they would get to do.
That is correct, SC.
And that, as you state in your paragraph 14, Section 64, capital F, gives the minister powers to expand those functions, and the minister has since done so.
That is correct, SC.
So is it a correct understanding, therefore, that the powers of the municipal services police do not equate to the powers of the members of the SAPS as we know them?
That is correct, SC.
Can you talk us through that a bit?
With the powers on page 5, bullet number 13, Those three ones I started with: the traffic policing, policing of municipal bylaws, and prevention of crime. There is the fourth power, which we as Metro Police don't have. It's only SAPS. That is the investigative power or investigation of crime. So we don't have those powers for investigation.
And you deal with that, I think, in more detail at your paragraph 17 at page 6. Can you address yourself to the contents of paragraph 17?
That is correct. See, on page 6, bullet number 17, by way of example, whereas SAPS members have the power to investigate crime and criminal activity, the municipal police service members do not have those powers. They may not initiate nor conduct investigation into any alleged crime. When the municipal police learn of a crime, they must report the same to the local police station. They may only, there's a typo there, detained. They may only arrest a person who has committed a crime in their presence. Upon arrest, immediately after completion of the necessary documents, example, if you arrest someone for drunken driving, you need to take that process to our prison station, do the necessary administrative process. Once you have concluded that, then you need, with immediate effect, hand over that accused to the police station, because we do not have the powers to detain. So once the case has been handed to the police, it is now the responsibility of SAPS to further take the investigation on. The only time when we will then finally resurface, it's when an officer has to go to testify in court if he is subpoenaed to do so.
Thank you.
This-
Yes, please, Commissioner.
Chief Mapia, I think I misheard something. You said upon arrest, if they arrest a person, they must immediately take them to a station. That is before they take them to a police station. You say they must take them to, I didn't hear what you said, pressing station?
Thanks, Commissioner. When we have arrested you for any crime committed, I gave an example of at least drunken driver, because there is a lot of administration which need to take place before you hand the accused to the police station. So our offices, we call them precinct stations. Those are our charge offices. So that is where we do our administration from.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. You indicated paragraph 17, or you specifically point out that you, as the EMPD and municipal police, you may only arrest a person who commits a crime in your presence. Based on that, do you, as the EMPD, have power to arrest someone for a crime you learn they have committed, and that crime was not committed in your presence? So, by way of example, you are informed the next day that there was a crime committed by Mr. So-and-so yesterday. Do you have powers to go arrest that person?
Yes, I see. In
Please
this
explain.
sense, I arrive at the scene of an accident. This accident happened whilst I was not even there. When I arrive at the scene of an accident, you found a driver, maybe seated behind the steering wheel. The vehicle is idling, the engine is idling. There are witnesses around which you need to engage. We'll be able to explain to you how this accident transpired. So that officer was not at the scene, but because of the witnesses and what he's going to observe at the scene of an accident, then you can arrest someone and then go and detain him in the police station.
With that explanation, is there a difference between an arrest for such an occurrence and an arrest for historical crime that you become aware of long after it has happened? Is there a difference that the municipal police exercise there?
As if a crime happened some time ago, and I hear of the information of a member of public or a criminal who was involved in that commission of a crime, it is very important to make sure or verify if there is a case which was open at the SAPS against that individual. Thereafter, if there is a case or there is no case, we don't have the powers to go and arrest. And once also there's a case, it is now the responsibility of SAPS to start the process of investigation. But at times, we are a force multiplier to SAPS. So we at times go out with them to go and assist with that arrest. But it will be done by SAPS.
Advocate Silla, on behalf of all South Africans, I have a question. I'm going
Yes,
to abuse this opportunity. Chief Mapia, I've often seen Metro Police officers in a roadblock situation, stopping vehicles and saying to drivers, you have outstanding speeding fines or whatever you call them. If you don't pay them now, we're going to detain you and arrest you. Do they have the power to do that? Or are they acting beyond the scope of their?
Thanks, Commissioner. I hope there might be a lot of outstanding fines in this room, but once a member of public has been issued with a traffic fine or a Section 341, a spot fine is a fine which is issued direct by an officer on the side of the road. It has got a pay date and a court date. Once the fine was not paid, and then it goes to court, then the magistrate will then authorize a warrant of arrest. So we've got a system where we store all those outstanding warrant of arrests. Now, once you are on the road and the officers, they can identify that you've got a warrant of an arrest, they are legally bound to arrest you there and there so that you can go and pay the fine.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo, I guess the moral of the story is to make sure that you don't have outstanding warrants of arrest for unpaid traffic fines. Turning then to paragraph 18, you explain the relevance of this clarification you have provided as regards the powers of the SAPS contrasted with the powers of the municipal police services. Can you explain that?
Thank you, Essie. As I've indicated earlier that officers, they can misuse their powers. By them mere wearing uniform, it does not mean that they can do anything which is against the law. You'll find officers conducting investigation into a property. That is not in their mandate to go and do investigation. That is the function of SAPS. So members of public, they need to be conscientized and be educated around this, because we do not want to see our officers as well subjecting or terrorizing our communities. So they have got no investigating powers.
Thank you. And turning then to paragraphs 19 and 20, you express an opinion there about the limited powers that municipal police services have. Please share your opinion with us.
Sorry, maybe Ms. Silo,
Yes.
I'm sorry, you may have to repeat your question. Can I just
Absolutely,
Can
Commissioner.
I just clarify this? Chief Mapieye, one of the functions of the Metro Police that you have listed is enforcing bylaws. I think you said something about bylaws. Now, are officers, or does that include the power to go into a property and investigate compliance with bylaws? Is that permissible? And I'm asking the question because I've understood you to say they don't have the power to go into a property and investigate. How far does that power to enforce bylaws go?
Thank you, Commissioner. Relevant other departments in the city, we've got building inspectors. They've got their own powers, the building inspectors. The water department, they've got their own inspectors with their own bylaws. We as Metro Police, we can enforce bylaws which are happening on the public road. But when there are these other transgressions, we usually accompany, we do what we call force multiplier, that we take the other inspectors with their relevant powers. Maybe we get into a ship-in, because liquor board, we always go with them. They've got powers to do certain activities there. So we are a force multiplier going with them to do the necessary. If it's a matter of water challenge, the inspector who is trained in that division of water, he has got the powers to issue a fine there. So that is how we handle issues of bylaws.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. I had drawn your attention to paragraphs 19 and 20 of your statement, Chief Mapieye, and I highlighted that you express an opinion in paragraph 19, and I was inviting you to share that opinion with the commissioners.
Thank you, SC. Municipal police service, however, do require additional powers to be able to effectively enforce the law and combat crime, and to be able to conduct certain other functions of the department's core function. Much as we do not have these investigative powers, from our side as Metro Police, we feel that should we be capacitated with much more powers, we can do much better. An example, when we arrest a drunken driver, once we have completed all our investigation, having have drawn blood, we take that accused to the police station. That is where our job ends. Now, we feel that if we're to be given additional powers, we can be much more productive. You arrest a drunken driver, you hand him over to the police station. The police have got an avalanche amount of work. It might not be their priority to take those blood samples to the lab because they are swamped with a lot of other activities. But if it was us, because this is close to our hearts, we will be able to move up to speed with taking those blood samples to the lab and getting the results. Because from experience, what one has seen, you arrest a drunken driver, you hand over the blood sample at the police station. At times, you don't even get the feedback what happened with that blood box. At times, they don't even arrive at the lab. You will see with the amount of our officers who will be called back to court to come and testify. It's very minimal officers who will then come back. But if we're doing that by ourselves, we feel that if we had at least additional powers, we can do much better to benefit our community and reduce the level of crime and safety in our cities.
Having then expressed such an opinion and I guess desire, you do, however, clarify at paragraph 20 what you must not be understood to mean by that opinion. At page 7.
I agree, yes, I see that regardless of what we are indicating that we need additional powers, it doesn't mean that, or in fact, our officers need to be trained on whatever powers have been given to them and the limitation thereof. So much as we want or we need additional powers, but we need to exercise those in accordance to the approved laws of the country.
Thank you. Still at page 7.
Mr.
Yes, Commissioner.
Perhaps on this topic of that the Metro Police should be given, or the suggestion for more powers for effectiveness, it might help, not necessarily now, that we get some exactly what powers would ideally be, or in fact what Chief Mapia is speaking to, what powers would assist if they were allocated to the EMPD. And that can be in a separate document.
Indeed. We would consider that because as Chief Mapia says, it was just an opinion based on frustrations on the ground. So perhaps it might be appropriate if a further interrogation of those challenges and how best they believe could be overcome by conferring more powers, if he applied his mind to that, to then come back with a sort of a statement where proposals are set out, both to identify the nature of the power and the extent of the power, with reference perhaps to those powers as already obtained with members of the SAPS. So we shall consider that, and perhaps not only with Chief Mapie, but with all the EMPD police officers that will be testifying. We'll try and see if we can produce a joint statement in that regard. Thank you. Chief Mapie, you understood our new assignment now. We're going to work on a second statement to address the issues that Commissioner Baloyi has raised.
I will note that.
Thank you. I was drawing your attention then to, still at page 7, to a new topic that you start. You have headed that topic, challenges within the EMPD. You deal with these issues for the next couple of pages. And I would like to invite you to take us through the contents of that chapter, the challenges within the EMPD, from page 7.
Thank you, SC. On page 7, challenges within the EMPD. Section 64C of SAPS Act bestow upon the Chief of Police of a municipal police service the power to appoint, recruit members for the service. The section provides as follows: the executive head shall, subject to this act, national standards and directive of the Chief Executive Officer of the municipality, exercise control over the municipal police service, and shall. The word executive head refers to the Chief of Police in the environment of the city.
To be more precise, you mean the phrase executive head?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And the Chief Executive Officer, that is the accounting officer, who is a city manager in a municipality. But these responsibilities are assigned to the municipal police service, to the executive head. Be responsible for maintaining an impartial, accountable, transparent, and efficient municipal police service. Subject to the applicable laws, be responsible for recruitment, appointment, promotion, transfer of members of the municipal police service. Ensure that traffic policing service by the municipalities are prejudicially affected by the establishment of municipal police service.
Are not prejudicially affected. You skipped the
Thank you
not.
very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Are not prejudicially affected by the establishment of the municipal police service. Be responsible for the discipline of the municipal police service, either personally or through a member of municipal police service designated by him or her for that purpose. Represent the municipal police service on every local police coordinating committee established in terms of Section 64K within the area of jurisdiction of the municipality. Perform such duties as may from time to time be imposed upon him or by her by the Chief Executive Officer.
You then proceed in the context of the provisions of Section 64, capital C. You then speak to what actually transpired within the EMPD in Ekurhuleni. You deal with that in paragraph 22.
Okay, on page 8, that's bullet number 22, it states that the city manager of Ekurhuleni, or the ex-city manager of Ekurhuleni, that was Dr. Imogen Mashazi, usurped all the powers set out in Section 64C of SAPS Act and assume the responsibility of recruiting, promoting police officers within EMPD, notwithstanding my consistent protestations. That is the earlier responsibilities of the executive head. You will find that the city manager will exercise those responsibilities. Meanwhile, those are responsibilities which are assigned to the executive head of the department, which is the chief of police. Can I continue?
Please continue. You indicate thereafter that in so usurping the powers of the executive head, she was working in concert with certain members, and you list them at paragraph 23.
Yeah. In this regard, she was supported by in taking those responsibility of the executive head, who is the chief of police. She was supported in the department by the following HODs. That HOD, Human Resource, who is currently Ms. Linda Kasheka. The second one will be HOD, Legal and Corporate, which is Advocate Kemi Biari. And the third one, that will be a Deputy Chief of Police, reporting to me, that is Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services, Brigadier Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi. So the powers of the Chief of Police, you will find that they were then exercised by those mentioned other individuals, which it is not their right to can do that.
And was this done with or without your knowledge? I'm just trying to understand, when you say they recruited and appointed police officers, did they do it with your knowledge or without your knowledge?
Commissioner, when we go a little bit further this document, I think I will be able to clarify how certain promotions happened without my knowledge.
Just to follow up on that question and the undertaking you make to Commissioner Khumalo, are you suggesting that those promotions that you will address in the fullness of time happened in contravention of Section 64C that you deal with at paragraph 21?
That is correct, I see.
Thank you. Chair, I see it's almost 11, but we had a late start to this morning. I forgot to ask if it impacts
Let us continue until quarter past 11.
Okay. I shall do so. You make a point at paragraph 24 regarding an appointment in respect of Brigadier Mkhwanazi. And you say that he was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services. You see that? And you indicate that you deal with this aspect further on in your statement. My question is, can you briefly indicate to the commissioners why you say that he was purportedly appointed? He was, as if you question that appointment or the validity thereof. Yes.
Commissioners, this brigadier or director, Julius Dr. Mkwanazi, he was a director, operations and specialized services, appointed as such.
Chief Mapie, is it possible for you to pull the mic closer to you, or you sit closer to the mic? One of the two, please.
That's done, Commissioner.
And Chief Mapie, my apologies for interrupting. As you respond to my question, please do not go into too much detail, because you do deal with this aspect later in your statement, and we will deal with it then. I just wanted a general overview of why you say it's a purported appointment.
Okay.
Or perhaps if it works best for your evidence, I can park that question and we will deal with it when we get to the relevant chapter. Would that work better perhaps?
I will appreciate that.
Okay,
SC.
I'm happy to do so. Then we'll proceed to page 9, and at page 9 you have a subheading, and at page 10 you have a different subheading. And your first subheading at page 9 is Head of Department, Human Resources, Linda Kasheka. This is the person you suggested at paragraph 23 that she, in concert with others and the then city manager, usurped your powers. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
And you deal with those issues from paragraph 25. Can you take the commissioners through that?
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, on bullet number 25, that's on page 9, I think during September, October 2023, the contract of a Deputy Chief of Police, who was Mr. Goodman Mzolo, was nearing its end. I think it was ending end of November 2023. And then I felt it important to initiate the process of appointing another Deputy Chief of Police once Mr. Mzolo vacate the position, because it is a very crucial position which one cannot neglect to fill. As I indicated earlier, that this is the face of metropolis in the city. HR, they've assisted me with the initiation of the process to advertise the position. Interviews dates were set. And then the process of shortlisting an interview took place during November 2023. To my memory, I think we had about 2 candidates who were shortlisted. That was Okay. That was Dr. Julius Mkwanazi and my staff office. We were then awaiting the other process to unfold because once you have gone through the interview process, we usually send one or two of those candidates for competency compliance certificate.
Perhaps before you get to that point, if I could refer you to paragraph 26, you say that there was a at page 45, the annexures file. It starts at page 45.
Okay, thank you very much, SC.
Now, just to confirm, if you go to page 46, no, let me start at 45. I see the subject line reads extension of the employment contract, Mr. Goodman Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services in the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. You confirm that's how it reads, correct?
Is it on the big file?
In the big file at page 45.
Page 45.
It's under the tab marked JM5.
I've got it, SC.
And at your paragraph 26, you indicate that you received this document from the HOD Human Resources, right? And you state at paragraph 26, this she did without prior discussion with me. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
Can I then invite you to page 46 for a clarification? Because at page 46, after the recommendation, which is to extend Mr. Mzolo's contract, what's reflected on the document, and it's got space for 3 signatures, but none appended. But that document reflects Mr. Isaac Mapieye, Chief of Police, as the person recommending. And yet at your paragraph 26, you say that she requested that an extension be effected. Can you explain that?
That is correct, SC. Commissioners have indicated that the powers to appoint, discipline, and transfer rest with the Chief of Police. After we have concluded the process of the shortlisting and the interview process of that position of a Deputy Chief of Police Operations, I received a letter from HR, HOD HR with Linda Kashega, where she has done a motivation to extend a contract of the Deputy Chief of the then Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Mzolo. It is not a responsibility. She must just run HR. I know my profession. I know the people I need there. So I'm the one, if I wanted to extend that contract, I'm the one who should have initiated that process. So I'm trying to show how much other people have got interest into my department. So they've got, she had nothing to worry herself about. She must worry about HR matters, not about catching criminals. because I know the people I want to deal with my challenges in the department.
Now, looking at JM5, can you turn to page 46? Am I just understanding correctly that JM5 originates from the HOD of HR? It's not a document you prepared. Am I understanding you correctly?
SC, are we talking about the document which is written number 45?
Yes,
the memorandum.
JM5 at page 45. At the top right-hand corner is the page number.
JM5 I've got.
All right. I see at page 45, it's addressed to Dr. Imogen Mashazi, City Manager. Right?
That is correct, SC.
Then it indicates that it's from Miss Linda Klasheka, HOD, Human Resources.
That is correct, SC.
Understanding then what's reflected there, I invited you to page 46 after item 3, recommendations. Do you see where I'm reading?
That is correct, SC.
And I see that the first signature there is intended to be by Mr. Isaac Mapie, Chief of Police. Then that is you.
That is
and it
correct,
suggests
SC.
that the person who signs there would either recommend or not recommend.
That is correct, SC.
And then, only thereafter, does the HOD Human Resources sign to approve or not to approve. And lastly, then the city manager, according to this document.
I could see that, SC.
Yes. So my question to you, I guess, is it correct for this document to suggest that you are recommending the appointment based on what you are testifying here today? If you signed that document, what would the meaning thereof be?
As I've indicated earlier, commissioners, that it's irrelevant that she wanted me to recommend or approve. It is my responsibility to appoint police officers in my department.
Yes.
So she had nothing to do with the extension of a contract of a deputy chief of police.
Yes.
Are you saying, so that I understand you, are you saying you did not initiate the process to extend the contract of the deputy, and that you did not ask her to prepare this document?
Very clear, I understand you, Commissioner. It is true. I did not initiate this process of compiling this memorandum, and I was also not consulted when she prepared this memorandum. So I could not be part of someone prepare food which I don't eat and just come and dish for me.
I take it then you never signed it. You never signed on page 46, or a copy similar to this.
That is correct, SC, Commissioner. Though I also submitted a memorandum in response to this letter she sent to me, which is on page 47.
Yes.
Where I've indicated there on that memorandum.
It's I apologize, Chief Mapie. It's a fairly short letter. At paragraph 26 of your statement, you say, I did not support the proposed extension, right?
That is correct.
And then
SC.
you refer us to page 47, which is also part of JM5.
That is correct, SC.
And you just responded to Commissioner Kumalo to indicate that that was your response to the proposed extension as appears from pages 45 to 46, correct?
That is correct, SC.
I'm saying that then, is that your signature at the bottom of 47, page 47, above your name, IJ Mapie?
That is my signature, Commissioner.
It's a very short, I think, letter. Can you just quickly just read it into the record? Thank you.
The heading commissioners will say extension of employment of contract, Mr. Goodman Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services in the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. The above matter refers, attached request is not supported. The attached request is not supported due to the following reasons. The matter was never discussed with me. The employee did not even apply for the position as it was recently advertised. Because I've explained that we have, by that time, have concluded the shortlisting and interview processes. Number 3, I further state that we have recently conducted interviews and made recommendations. Most of the challenges which resulted in me being sent on special leave emanated from the leadership style and the division of the same employee.
And I see that your letter is dated the 8th of November, 2023.
That is correct, SC.
Before
yes,
you continue, Mr. Lo, so what should one make of the letter at 45 that is recommending the extension? Does it mean that someone else put together this document and then put in your name as the person who moved for the extension in the hope that you would sign recommending that there be an extension, but you never signed and instead wrote the letter that you've just read now? Is that the full picture?
That is correct, Commissioner. It was prepared by someone who is Linda Plasheka, the HOD of Human Resource.
And just to be clear, based on what you say again at your paragraph 26, you say the HOD Human Resources requested the city manager that the incumbent's contract be extended, right? And then you introduce this letter that is from page 45.
Yeah, I request that we take the adjournment now, and let's resume at 20 past 11. Let's adjourn.
It's 20 past 11, Chair, in 3 minutes, so might as well go to the door and come back.
What did I want to say? 25 to 12.
25 to, thank you.
Let's adjourn.
We suggest perhaps you switch on both mics, because depending on which direction you look, then your voice drops. So you have the one mic on. Can you switch on the one to your right?
This
Yes.
This one is on. I'm gonna
I
use
want
this
to keep both on, because sometimes you look one direction and then, you're not as audible. So perhaps keep both of them on facing you. Then whichever direction you look, we don't lose you.
Understand this.
Okay. Before we broke for tea, we were dealing with Annexure JM5, starting from page 45 of the big file. Can you go back to that file?
I am there, see.
And you had read into the record your response to the request for the extension of Mr. Mzolo's contract, and your response is at page 47, correct?
That is correct, see.
The question I think I had asked you, I had to stand down because of the tea break, is as follows. In light of your response at page 47, was Mr. Mzolo's contract ever extended?
See, it was not extended.
It was not extended. We are dealing with the issue of interference in the exercise of your powers and your after the failed attempt to extend the contract of Mr. Mzolo, and you speak there of a letter you addressed to her of the 13th of April, 2024. And that letter, according to paragraph 27 of your statement, you say is JM6 of your annexures. That JM6 starts at page 48, if you could turn to that annex. As you deal with this at paragraph 27 of your statement.
In short, SC, I think early 2024, around about February, March, there were positions which were advertised. To my dismay, I realized that a deputy chief of police, Julius Mkwanazi, was running with the process of recruitment and promotion of municipal police members without my involvement.
Yes.
So I've picked this up, then I had to write to the HOD, Human Resource, to explain to her that they can't do what they are doing. I must be part of that process because I have to overall control Metropolis and avoid any other irregularities which might take place in the process of recruitment. So on high level, I think that's how this letter was worded.
Yes. And that is, in summary, the content of your letter at page 46, JM6. At page 46 of the big file. What you've just stated is a summary of the content of. Oh, apologies, 48, I'm corrected. I got my pages wrong. I do apologize. 48.
Thank you, Yasi. 48,
I apologize.
yes.
Yes. So I was saying what you've just stated now is a high-level summary of the content of the letter we are referencing at page 48.
That is correct, Yasi.
And that was your advice to the HOD.
That was correct.
What was her response to this letter, if any?
She did not respond, but what I've observed, the processes of interviews in my department continued between herself and the Deputy Chief Julius Mkwanazi.
Yes. Overleaf then, in your statement at page 10, you introduce a new subheading, Deputy Chief of Police Julius Dr. Mkwanazi.
Okay, Silo, sorry to do this. Can
Yes,
we just
Chair.
go back to this letter? I'm worried that we are leaving it without the necessary context.
Absolutely.
Chief Mapia is it Brigadier Mkwanazi? Is his title Brigadier?
That is correct.
You-
Currently, he is now
You are saying he was running with the process of promotion and recruitment of officers. But who had authorized him to run with the process of promotion and recruitment of officers?
Thanks, Commissioner. With commissioners, the Metro Police comprises of just above 3,000 police members. Some of them have been in the system for more a lot of officers who are really dedicated in the job. I'm not I'm not saying newly appointed officers must not be promoted, but experience also counts a lot. So it gives me this, I was so uncomfortable when I was seeing these things happening. Then I have to write to the HOD, Human Resource, that I want to be part and parcel of this process of recruitment. Want to be part and parcel of this process of recruitment.
But do you know who had asked him to initiate and continue with that process? Or can he do it at all? Let's just maybe ask the question differently. Can he do that?
Thanks, Commissioner. He must be assigned by myself. Whoever from my department, he must have been assigned by myself to work closer with Human Resource in order to facilitate this process with Human Resource in order to facilitate these processes.
In this case, you say you had not assigned him.
That is correct. I did not assign him to be there.
Thank you, Advocate.
Thank you, Commissioner. And in fact, then that leads us well into your page 10, where you specifically then deal with the conduct of Brigadier Mkhwanazi in the context of what we're talking about, starting at paragraph 29 of your statement.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. I think on page 10, paragraph number 29, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, with the support of the city manager, that is Dr. Imogen Mashazi, has over the years brazenly disregarded my authority as the Chief of Police of EMPD. Julius, as a Deputy Chief, was always appointed to act as a chief of police whenever I'm absent or on leave. Meanwhile, there were other senior deputy chief of police who could have been considered to act. Julius was appointed on the 1st of December 2023. So he was still new to can resume even the processes of overseeing the running of the recruitment process in the department. During such acting appointments, he conducted recruitments, effected various promotions, and set up panels to conduct interviews of candidates.
Chief Mapia, can I just find out on that? Surely there's at the beginning of a period, say a financial year, or at some point at least, where the head of the department, you in this case, would have identified what positions you have that need to be filled. You would have identified what promotions and transfers and all of that. Does that happen in this case, in your department?
These specific ones, it happened where we had promotional positions during that time. It's not always that we will always find ourselves having promotions. But this specific one happens at times when I'm absent or I was on leave for a very short space of time. Julius will be running very quick with the issues of appointing panel members who will sit at those interviews. Ironically, in one of the panels, being the chief of police, he appointed me as well to go and sit in another panel, regardless that he was acting. But he appointed me. And when I will go and query to my principal, she will tell me that I have given Julius Mkhwanazi the roles and responsibility to take over the promotional positions. So which I wasn't okay with it. At some stage I wrote even a letter explaining my dissatisfaction that I am the accounting officer of EMPD. So that's how things will at times happen.
To your knowledge, did the city manager
And understanding the system. But Julius, being newly appointed in 2023 December, already during May, from the 6th up to the 17th of May, this is what I've got on record for now, from the 6th to the 17th of May, he was acting as the chief of police. So he will quickly run those processes and appointing me, whilst I have raised these challenges, that I did not want to see people being appointed whose positions were not even advertised. And this happened in this process, that people were appointed to appoint someone to a position which was not advertised.
Chief, further to your response to Commissioner Baloyi, you deal with these appointments over that relatively short period, you say between May to July 2024, at paragraph 32, at page 10 of your statement. So in part response to your questions, you might want to deal with the contents of paragraph 32.
Thank you, SC. Thank you, Commissioners. On paragraph 32, from the period May to July 2024, Mkhwanazi made 55 appointments or promotions without my involvement, which included directors, deputy directors, chief superintendents, and inspectors. I attach Mark JM7, a list of all those appointments. As I've said earlier on, that most of these candidates did not satisfy the requirements of the respective advertised post. In some instances, the post some were appointed to were never advertised. The appointments were in large part drawn from the members of the unit which Brigadier Mkhwanazi headed.
You reference Annexure JM7 at paragraph 32, and that appears in the big file at page 50. And at page 50 is a table of appointments you say were effected by Brigadier Mkhwanazi in the period May to July 2024. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
You wanted to clarify, insofar as JM7 is concerned, a little aspect for the commissioners. If you look at JM5, there is an entry in the first line of an appointment of a director. It's colored in green. It's the appointment of Director Dion Singh. Now, in the context of what you stated, paragraph 32, you wanted to clarify something to the commissioners, as you indicated to us. This is your opportunity to do so. At paragraph 32, you say JM7 is a list of 55 people who were appointed without or promoted without your involvement. Correct? That's what you state in your statement.
That is correct, SC.
Having stated that, you pointed out to us that when you have proper regard to JM7 at page 50, there's a clarification you would like to make in regard to the first name there, the first appointee, and that is Director Dion Singh. And I'm giving you the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, SC.
Thank you.
When I look at this page, on page 5,
Page
MJ7.
50 you meant, for
Page
the record.
50.
Yes.
MJ7. I will just pick up 2 to 3 irregularities which I could just from the onset pick up.
If I may, General, before you do so, perhaps the clarification you wanted to bring to the attention of the commissioners, were you involved in the appointment of Director Dion Singh, who appears first on that list?
That is correct, SC. I was involved in the appointment of a Director Singh.
So, if that's what you state, then your paragraph 32 is correct, but to the exclusion of Director Singh, because you were involved. Recall, you say this is a list of appointments made without your involvement.
That is correct, SC.
So what you are suggesting, that you still stand by that statement, except you point out that that point does not apply to Director Singh because you were involved in his appointment.
That is correct, SC.
Having then clarified that you wanted to make a reference to about 2 other appointments on that list, you may do so.
I will go to page 50 and I look at candidate number 4.
Yes.
The positions which were advertised by that time, it could be a Director Operations and Specialized Services. But candidate number 4, you will see that that candidate, she is appointed as a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs. On the structure I've shown earlier, unfortunately, we could not go down that structure. Each and every structure, there are 5 deputy chiefs. There are vacancies below those deputy chiefs. Now, they've advertised a position of a Deputy Director, Operations and Specialized Services. And then they take an employee number of a position which is with Internal Affairs and appoint that individual in the operational leg. So technically, if you wanted to fill in the position of a Director, Internal Affairs, a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs, you must advertise according to that job spec of that position of a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs. But what happened here, they've advertised Deputy Director Operations and Specialized Services, and took that position which is at Internal Affairs, at Compliance, and utilize that position to appoint and place someone in operational leg. In this sense, you are disadvantaging other employees in the respective divisions.
Yes.
So that's the one I've picked up quickly.
Before you move on to the next, are you suggesting then that candidate 4 on that list was appointed to a position that was never advertised?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
see. I look at candidate number
Well,
7.
Chief Mapie, aren't you suggesting even more than that? That it's not simply she was appointed twice, but that there was in fact misrepresentation of what the position is, in fact, to which she gets appointed.
That is very, very correct. Some employees who could be working at Internal Affairs, some of them have been acting in that position at Internal Affairs. And then you advertise this position at Operations and Specialized Services. The mind of employees, they will always think that no, they are still going to advertise this position. You find that someone doesn't apply because he knows that this is not his specialty. He is still waiting for his opportunity one day when that position is advertised, or she can apply. Because as I'm saying, others have been acting in those positions.
Thank you, Commissioner. You've given us one example of an irregular appointment with reference to the candidate at item 4. You wanted to give another, without necessarily going through irregularities or shortcomings of the candidates on the list. You wanted to highlight one more. Which one is that?
I will go to candidate number 8,
Yes,
which is a chief superintendent,
yes.
stores. On the organigram I spoke earlier, that position rests with the Deputy Chief of Police, Auxiliary and Support. Now, that position was just advertised as Chief Superintendent, Operations and Specialized Services. The people who were working at stores, others were acting, some of them were still waiting that one day that position will be advertised, will apply. But then through the arrangement of Julius and Linda Kasheka, they took those positions and utilized them to appoint some of these individuals, irregularly so. Before I left, I was seated with a long list of disputes about officers who are disputing these kind of appointments.
Okay, I think the commissioners get a sense of the challenges attaching to the appointments as reflected in page 50, my apologies, page 50, except of course, to the exclusion of the first candidate who you say you interviewed and took part in his appointment, correct?
That's correct, I see.
Okay,
Before you
Yes.
move on, Mr. Can we just clarify this? Chief, in the preceding paragraphs, these appointments, he would be appointed to act. This is Brigadier Mkhwanazi. He would be appointed to act whenever you were absent or on leave, and you say for short periods of time. And then in 31, you then say you were on leave from the 6th to 17 May. But then in paragraph 32, where you talk about it's in the period May to July 2024. Were you on leave? Were you away in all of that time that those 55 appointments were made?
It's very important, this question, Commissioner, in the sense that During May to July 2024, I was at work, I was not on leave. So these were happening in my presence in these appointments, except the directors.
And the explanation, maybe you might have said it if you have, maybe repeat it. The explanation why Brigadier Mkhwanazi could make appointments even when you were present at work is what?
I've complained about this challenge. And then I was told, I think there is also a memo, if my memory serves me well, that I cannot expect myself to be seated in all the positions, including the clerks. Yes, I'm not interested to sit. I've indicated to my boss that it doesn't mean that I want to go and sit in positions and do interviews. But I need to take part and also give guidance so that these irregularities we're talking about, they couldn't have happened. So, but they did happen, and he continued with the blessing of the city manager to do all these kind of appointments and the HOD human resource.
At this point, he was obviously not acting chief of police because you are present, right? My question is, on what authority? I hear you saying he had the blessings of the, but in what capacity? Did she assign the specific functions of filling vacancies to him and thus taking them away from you, where you've indicated in terms of that section 64.6, that's your role to do? Is there any document which delegated these powers to him away from you?
Commissioner, this was not given in writing. It was a verbal instruction that all those promotional positions which were taking place by then shall be handled by Julius Mkhwanazi. And then I responded with a memorandum to express my dissatisfaction, but regardless, the process continued.
And did the city manager say why she was assigning him the responsibility of promotional positions? Did you provide an explanation for that?
Much as I've explained to her, my said to me, I need to worry myself only with the appointment of the next lower, which is Deputy Chief of Police from me. I must not worry myself about lower positions below that, of which have, because anything which will go wrong during that process, I will remain accountable for the outcome of all these irregular processes. But she continued, and Julius continued to do his job as instructed by the city manager.
Is there anything in your protocols in the municipalities' ways of doing things? Is there anything that prevented you from raising what seems like very serious intrusions into your statutory duty? Because the power it derives from the Act. You have referred us to that section 64C. Is there anything in your protocols that prevented you bringing this to the attention of the council? This unlawful, what looks like conduct on the part of the city manager?
There has been nothing stopping me to can escalate this matter, but because things were happening at a very faster rate. Before I could move on, because I had a lot of challenges in the department, there were a lot of criminalities, which I'm still going to touch on. I'm not saying it was not a priority for me to go or escalate this matter, but you are swamped with a lot of other agent activities which you need to respond as now, even after hours, with the passing of time, because this happened around May, June. In August, I was sent home. So I was suspended. So I could not then have the luxury anymore of following up all these other activities.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can I just refer you back to paragraph 6 of your statement? I wonder if you are able to clarify something for us. At paragraph 6, at page 3. Yes, Commissioner. No, quite in order.
There's quite a bit to go through, so one has to go back and forth. In the first memorandum, it's about provision of services which include drawing blood and at roadblocks. To the extent that this discussion now is about blue lights under that heading, that's why we're having that discussion. If you go to page 60,
Yes.
there's that last bullet point, and I was checking whether we have heard anything about it. At page 60.
Page 60, correct?
The last bullet point. And perhaps you should read, because this is where the question about why there are vehicles that have blue lights is
Yes.
addressed in the memorandum. Can the witness read that into the record, perhaps?
It's absolutely important. Chief Mapie, you remember we were dealing with these two sets of agreements, JM11 and JM12,
That is correct. See.
which starts at page 55 of your big file.
I am there,
And
SC.
just to orientate you, this particular memorandum is between Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department and Medicare Emergency Medical Services. You see that?
That's correct, SC.
Now, she refers you in particular to page 60, if you could go there.
Maybe before that, Chief Mapie, if you could go to page 58 of that same document, and then there's paragraph 3 there, which tells us what is the purpose of this document, and read that into the record first.
Thank you, Commissioner. On page 58, the purpose of this Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, is to outline the commitment of promoting and protection of the Medicare emergency services, combining that with the health care and safety of officers of Ekurhuleni Police Department when a situation arises warranting medical attention on various degree, particularly in traumatic event incidents. That's bullet number 3.
Yes. And then if you would then go to page 60, maybe start with the heading, read what the heading says you are agreeing to as a municipality, and then you can skip the other bullet points and then go to the last bullet point.
Commissioner, you said I must go to page
60.
60.
60. It's that signature page.
Okay, I've got it.
And then read that heading into the record.
Ekurhuleni Police Department, by signing this MOU, Ekurhuleni Police Department agrees to.
And then the last bullet point.
EMPD will assist with the registration of vehicles under EMPD as official vehicles, and we will be permitted to use blue and red lights to respond for and on behalf of EMPD. The cost of this will be for the Medicare 24 Annabis Protection Services.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm quite aware of the time, that it's lunch, but just not to interrupt this flow of questions, may I perhaps ask the witness to deal with two other aspects, then we close the subject. Mr. Mapie, please go back to page 59 of the same document.
I've got to see.
This is, the heading of that page is understandings. And the opening paragraph thereof reads, by signing this MOA, Medicare 24 Emergency Services agrees to. Do you see that? And then it...
That is correct, I see.
Okay. I would like you to read items 4, 5, and 6 into the record, please.
Item 4, Medicare 24 Annabis Protection Services can assist when needed. All members are registered with SIRA and are issued firearms through our VIP protection unit that are owned by the Medicare 24 holdings.
Yes.
The number 5, the CEO's health qualifications and legal degree can assist when needed in an event of a drug bust, and I can give legal advice where needed. Number 6, Medicare 24 can assist with drawing blood in roadblocks for you, and staff will be available.
Now, having read those 4 items under the heading understandings, the 3 rather, 3, 5, 6, what Medicare 24 is undertaking to do here, does that accord with the law as the EMPD understands it? Can Medicare undertake the services listed there?
I cannot allow it under my watch because the law doesn't allow it as well.
Okay. When we dealt with Annexure JM12, we indicated who represented VIP CAT services. We overlooked doing so in respect of JM11, this particular annexure we're dealing with. Page 55, and just read into the record who represented Medicare 24 Emergency Medical Services / Annabis Protection Services in the conclusion of this agreement. It's set out in the parentheses below the name of the entity.
On page 55, Medicare 24, that is Emergency Medical Service, Annabis Protection Services, duly represented by Mike van Wyk.
Thank you. Thank you for the indulgence, Chair. I shall not detain the commissioners any further.
Let us adjourn and